We all know Cristiano Ronaldo as the ultimate football machine. Fast, fearless, unstoppable, a global icon whose name echoes in stadiums and whose every move is captured by cameras. His life seems like a dream of endless trophies, fame, and glory. But behind the blinding lights and thunderous applause, there was a profound loneliness, a quiet void that no one saw. This is the story of how love, not a goal, became his greatest victory. During his early, explosive years at Real Madrid, Ronaldo's life was a masterclass. In discipline, it was a relentless cycle. Grueling training sessions, high-stakes matches, constant travel, and repeat. His entire existence was dedicated to perfecting his craft. Love. That was a distraction, a luxury he couldn't afford. Football first, he would always say. His focus, laser sharp on the next record to break, the next trophy to win. He was building a legacy of invincibility, but in the process, he was building walls around his heart. But fate, as it often does, had a different script in mind. One balmy Madrid evening, after a glamorous charity event filled with flashing cameras and adoring fans, Ronaldo's world tilted on its axis. As he was leaving, his gaze fell upon a woman standing quietly away from the clamoring crowd. She wasn't holding a phone for a selfie or a jersey for an autograph. There was a serene confidence about her, a calm presence that was a stark contrast to the chaos surrounding him. Her smile was genuine, not for the cameras, but for herself. She was a world away from his reality, and in that moment, she was all he could see. Her name was Sofia. She was an architect, her world built on blueprints and precision, not fame and fortune. She was intelligent, grounded, and refreshingly uninterested in the global phenomenon that was CR7. Their first conversation was brief, almost hesitant, but it was real. They didn't talk about his latest hat-trick or the pressure of El Clasico. Instead, they talked about simple things. Their favorite places in Madrid, their families, the dreams they held before their careers took over. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't a superstar. He was just Cristiano, a man talking to a woman who saw him, not his shadow. He felt a sense of normalcy he didn't even realize he had been craving. What followed was a romance that blossomed in the quiet corners of the city, far from the prying eyes of the world. They started meeting secretly. Early morning coffees in hidden cafes where no one would recognize him. Late-night walks along the less traveled streets of Madrid. Private dinners where the conversation flowed as easily as the wine. With Sofia, Ronaldo rediscovered a part of himself he had long suppressed. He laughed without the pressure of maintaining an image. He could be vulnerable, tired, or unsure, and she wouldn't judge. Sofia was different. She admired his incredible discipline, the sheer willpower that drove him. But she was unimpressed by his wealth or his celebrity. She respected his towering ambition, but she also gently reminded him that his worth wasn't measured in goals or Ballon d'Or trophies. She saw the man, not the myth. She saw the hard work behind the highlights and the sacrifice behind the success. She challenged him to think beyond the pitch, to see a life beyond the final whistle. As Ronaldo's career soared to even more stratospheric heights, so did the challenges. The world of elite sports is unforgiving. A nagging injury threatened his form. A missed penalty brought a storm of criticism. The relentless pressure from the media, the fans, and even himself began to take its toll. There were moments of doubt, moments when the weight of being Cristiano Ronaldo felt crushing. And it was during these darkest moments that Sofia's love became his anchor. She stood by his side, not as a starstruck fan cheering from the stands, but as a steadfast partner in the trenches. When pundits and papers wrote him off, she was the one voice that mattered, whispering her unwavering belief in him. She didn't offer football analysis. She offered solace. She didn't tell him to score more goals. She told him to rest his mind. I remember one night vividly. It was after a devastating loss in a crucial Champions League match. The world was dissecting his every mistake. Ronaldo was in his home gym, surrounded by the equipment that had forged his physical perfection, but he felt broken. It was silent. His frustration, a palpable force in the room. Sofia walked in, not with words of hollow comfort, but with quiet understanding. She sat down next to him on the cold floor, the silence stretching between them. Then she placed a hand on his and said softly, "You are more than this game. You don't need to win every single match to be enough for me." "You are enough, just as you are." Those words were more powerful than any stadium chant. They were a revelation. In that moment, something shifted deep within him. Ronaldo had always viewed love and vulnerability as potential weaknesses, distractions that could derail his career. But looking at Sofia, he realized the profound truth. Love wasn't a weakness. It was the ultimate strength. It was the balance he had been missing, the purpose beyond the trophies, the peace that no amount of success could buy. The years that followed saw a transformation in Ronaldo, not just as a player, but as a man. He was still the relentless goal-scorer, the dedicated athlete. But there was a new depth to him. In interviews, he began to speak more about the importance of family, about happiness, about the values that truly mattered. The fierce, almost robotic focus was now tempered with a warmth and wisdom that could only come from a full heart. The boy from Madeira who had once lived only for the roar of the crowd and the glory of the goal had learned life's most important lesson. He learned that the greatest victories are always won on a perfectly manicured field under the glare of floodlights. Sometimes they are won in the quiet moments, with the person who sees you and loves you when the lights go down. The world will forever remember Cristiano Ronaldo for his gravity-defying headers, his impossible free kicks, and his iconic celebrations. His records are etched in the history books, but as he looks back on his incredible journey, Ronaldo knows the undeniable truth. His greatest goal, the one that truly defined his life, was finding a love that never needed a stadium to shine. Thanks for watching. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that go beyond the headlines.